Hi, I'm Ruben and this is my spoiler-free review for Netflix's and Marvel's original series Season 2 of Iron Fist. When I reviewed Season 1 of Iron Fist, it's safe to say that I was part of a very small minority of those that liked it. I mean, I didn't love it, but I definitely liked it. In Season 1, we saw billionaire Danny Rand return to New York after having been missing for many years. After 13 episodes, Danny and his fist then teamed up with the rest of the Scooby Gang in the miniseries The Defenders.
Only way out of here is together.
Again, this was not so well received, and I have to say I thought that The Defenders was quite weak as well. Netflix recently treated us to Season 2 of Luke Cage, and it was there we last saw the Iron Fist, and those two episodes filled me with high hopes for Season 2 of the Iron Fist. Bearded Danny showed a growth in the character that was sorely lacking, well, for me anyway. Finally, I had an Iron Fist that looked like he was comfortable in his own skin, and I was excited to see what they were going to do with the character from there on. So Netflix dropped Season 2 today with all 10 episodes to binge watch, with each episode somewhere in the 50-minute mark. And the fact that it's 10 episodes and not 13 like the first season should give you an indication as to the new pacing of the series. This time around, Danny Rand has taken on the baggage of clearing up his city's streets, and much like that of what the Bat and Daredevil does, that comes at a price.
I see how much you're pushing yourself.
Just trying to keep the peace.
He's using his Iron Fist a lot. Well, now that he knows how to use it properly, he's kicking ass and taking names, and it's cool. But this Danny does feel much more grown up. He's not quite yet at peace with himself, not even by a long shot, but it's definitely a more grown-up Iron Fist. He seems a little bit more savvy, world savvy, now that he's spent some time in it. Part of this now grown-up, moodier Danny comes with the fact that he is weighed down because of the task given to him by the devil
of Hell's Kitchen.
By Daredevil before, Matt Murdock told him to look after his city. Danny has taken that on board a lot. I have to say, it feels like they've upped the ante in this season. There seems to be real stakes, and not so much so that you care about what happens to the characters. There's real jeopardy, which was one of the complaints of Season 1. People didn't care about the characters. Don't get me wrong, I'm not heavily invested in Season 2 characters, but there's enough there for me to keep watching. The action is definitely bigger. The first episode opens with a massive action sequence that gives you the illusion that this is somehow what the whole series is going to be like. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and there has to be space for dialogue and character development, right?
What's right?
The acting, and talking about the character development, is excellent, so I'm not knocking that, and the fighting choreography feels harder hitting. It's definitely a gorier season. The fight scenes are dark, and in fact it did remind me a lot of the 2 seasons of Daredevil. And as for Danny's team, or Team Fist if you like to call it, that has been forming over Season 1, Defenders and Luke Cage. They fit into the story perfectly. They don't feel like the odd ones out, but rather feel integral to the storyline. Misty Knight and Colleen Wing are both back, and this works as a trio when they're on screen together, or when they're just separately. It works really well. These characters are well developed and fit into the story perfectly. The editing of the stories is very cleverly done as well. Even when each character is doing their own thing, the story intersects at places through editing that flows the main arc of the story in together. It intersects really well. I thought this was excellently done. If you've seen the trailers, then you've probably had the main arc revealed to you already. In fact, Season 2 can quite aptly be named The Iron Fist. An old frenemy, his brother Davros from Kung Lung, is back, and he's not happy with the fact that Danny has the Iron Fist or how he uses it. He believes that Danny is not the rightful user.
We have family matters to discuss.
I have to say, as more arc is developed with each episode, you get to see the reasoning behind the bad guys and girls. You do kind of engage with their justification for what they are doing. Not that it's right, but you understand it. This was what I really liked about Season 2 of Luke Cage. The bad guy wasn't just a typical bad guy, he had a great backstory, and I feel like they've tried to do the same for Season 2 of Iron Fist. Davros and Danny's feud is the backbone of the series. In between the street fights and Danny's company issues and relationship and character building, this is the arc that drives the story, and it works for the most part. The only real issue I had with this season thus far is the pacing of the story. The action is frenetic and fast paced, with many more cuts and music dropped in to make it feel awesome, but when the action drops out, the dialogue and character building sometimes feels a bit stale. Not always, but sometimes. For the most part, I've really enjoyed the half I've seen of Season 2, so much so that as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna watch the rest. Just a quick note, my first fantasy novel is released on the 21st of September. There's a link in the description below if you want a free taster and more info. I'm super excited to have it finally get released. Really hope that you like it. Thanks for watching my review. I hope you found it insightful, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. There are a few surprises in this series that I'm eager to talk to you guys about in the comments below. So let me know what you thought about those surprises in the series as a whole. I normally try and chat to everybody as I can as time progresses. I'm always there kind of replying and chatting to you guys. I really enjoy that part of our community. And remember, live long and Tuesday.